Adventure Time presents itself as a whimsical, post-apocalyptic fantasy, a land of candy kingdoms, magical swords, and surreal adventures. But beneath the surface, the series gradually reveals a sprawling cosmology, a framework of order, chaos, and balance that stretches far beyond the Land of Ooo itself. From the earliest episodes, viewers are shown hints of this greater design. Bizarre dimensions, ancient beings, and powers that transcend kingdoms. By the time the show reaches its later seasons, it has constructed a mythos as rich as any fantasy epic, filled with gods, primordial entities, and cosmic forces that shape not only Ooo's fate, but the very nature of reality. Understanding this cosmic order is to see Adventure Time not just as a tale of friendship and adventure, but as a meditation on how universes function, how chaos and order coexist, and how destiny intertwines with freedom. At its heart, the Adventure Time cosmos is defined by contradiction. On one hand, there is structure, elemental forces, reincarnation cycles, hierarchies of gods and guardians. On the other, there is disruption, chaos entities, unpredictable dimensions, and the breakdown of rules that seem immutable. This interplay forms the backbone of the series' cosmic order. Unlike more traditional mythologies that build a clear pantheon or a stable creation story, Adventure Time thrives on ambiguity. Its cosmology is never explained in a single monologue or sacred text. Instead, it emerges piecemeal through encounters, hints, and revelations. This fragmented storytelling mirrors the very universe it describes, a place where order and chaos overlap, where history is layered and broken, and where no single perspective can explain everything. The first major clue to the existence of a cosmic hierarchy comes early in the series, with glimpses into other dimensions. The Nitosphere, ruled by Hunson Abadir, is among the first examples. Though primarily played for comedy, the Nitosphere is a domain of chaos and suffering, revealing that Ooo is not an isolated land, but part of a larger multiverse. Hunson himself, though not at the highest cosmic tier, represents a kind of demonic authority, a figure who can casually manipulate life and death within his realm. His presence hints that Ooo is overseen by more than kings and queens of candy or flame. It is shaped by powers whose scope is planetary, dimensional, or even universal. The introduction of death as a character further complicates this cosmic framework. Death is not a metaphor, but a literal entity, presiding over a domain of the dead and governing the passage of souls. His appearance establishes that even mortality is bureaucratic, part of a cosmic order where souls are accounted for and realms beyond life are structured. Yet death himself is not absolute. He can be bargained with, tricked, or even killed. This paradox, that even death has limitations, exemplifies Adventure Time's cosmology. Rules exist, but they can be bent. Hierarchies are present, but they are unstable. Nothing, not even mortality, is as fixed as it seems. The emergence of Prismo adds another layer. Prismo exists outside the ordinary flow of time, residing in the time room as a wishmaster. His abilities are cosmic in scale. He can reshape reality with a single wish. Yet even he is bound by strange limitations. He is not truly immortal. His existence depends on the slumber of an ordinary mortal body. This duality, infinite power tethered to fragile mortality, reflects Adventure Time's fascination with contradiction. Prismo is a cosmic entity whose order is absolute within his realm, yet his existence rests on something as fragile as a sleeping man. In him, we see how the series balances the grand and the mundane, the infinite and the limited. Beyond these entities, Adventure Time introduces recurring cycles that reveal the structure of its cosmos. Chief among them is the Catalyst Comet, a phenomenon that appears once every 1,000 years, carrying with it the spark of cosmic destiny. The comet's arrival marks turning points in history, and beings touched by its essence are reincarnated across lifetimes. Finn himself is revealed to be one such being, his heroism part of a cycle that transcends individual lifetimes. This motif places destiny within the larger cosmic order, suggesting that Oo's history is not random but patterned, shaped by forces that repeat across ages. Yet, once again, the show complicates the idea. Destiny is powerful, but choice remains essential. Finn, though marked by the comet, defines himself not by inevitability, but by the choices he makes. Thus, even in cosmic cycles, freedom asserts itself. The elementals further expand this cosmic order. Candy, flame, slime, and ice are revealed not merely as kingdoms, but as eternal forces, embodied in individuals who reincarnate across eras. Their presence in Ooo ensures balance, each element countering and complementing the others. The elementals are part of the fabric of reality itself, their influence as natural and inevitable as the seasons. Yet, like all other cosmic forces in Adventure Time, their order is not absolute. The elementals can be corrupted, overpowered, or even assimilated, as seen during the elemental crisis. Their role demonstrates how the cosmic order depends on balance rather than dominance, and how even eternal forces are vulnerable to change. The greatest expression of chaos within the cosmos comes in the form of GOLB. Unlike other entities, GOLB is not a character with desires or goals, but a force of pure entropy. He embodies destruction, madness, and the collapse of structure. Where death has a domain and Prismo has rules, GOLB exists outside order entirely. He cannot be reasoned with, contained, or fully understood. His presence in the series serves as a reminder that chaos is not simply the absence of order, but a cosmic principle in itself, always lurking at the edges of existence. If the elementals, the comets, and the gods represent structure, GOLB represents its undoing. Taken together, these entities form a patchwork cosmology, a universe where rules exist but are fragile, where cycles repeat but can be broken, and where balance is always under threat from chaos. Adventure Time never presents its cosmic order as a tidy system, but as a living, shifting framework. This makes it feel both surreal and authentic, because in reality, myths and religions are rarely seamless. They are layered, contradictory, and evolving. The show mirrors this by building its mythology out of fragments, forcing viewers to piece together the cosmic order through stories, songs, and glimpses. What makes this cosmology especially resonant is how it connects to the characters' personal journeys. Marceline's struggle with vampirism, Simon's descent into the Ice King, Bubblegum's obsession with control, Finn's grappling with destiny. All of these stories echo the themes of the cosmos. The personal and the cosmic are intertwined. Just as Ooo is shaped by the balance of order and chaos, so too are its characters shaped by their struggles with inevitability and choice. The cosmic order is not distant from the everyday. It is reflected in every relationship, every decision, every cycle of trauma and healing. In this way, the shape of Oo's cosmos is not a hierarchy of gods lording over mortals, but a tapestry where the infinite and the intimate intersect. The Nightosphere reflects the chaos of dysfunctional families. The Catalyst Comet reflects the cycles of growing up. The elementals reflect the balance of personality traits. Death reflects the inevitability of endings, and Prismo reflects the wishful thinking that shapes dreams. Even GOLB, as terrifying as he is, reflects the truth that destruction and entropy are part of life, lurking in both the universe and the psyche. Adventure Time's cosmos is grand, but it is also deeply human. By the end of the series, this cosmology is brought into focus during the final battle with GOLB. The survival of Ooo depends not on a single hero, but on the unity of its people and the endurance of its cycles. The cosmic order proves fragile, but also flexible, resilient in its contradictions, and in that flexibility lies its strength. Adventure Time's cosmos is not one of unchanging laws, but of shifting balances, where even the most eternal forces can adapt, and where even chaos can lead to transformation. This is the shape of Oo's cosmos: contradictory, fragmented, fragile, resilient, intimate, and infinite. It is a universe where gods can fall, where death can be bargained with, where destiny repeats, but choices still matter. It is a cosmos that reflects the messy, contradictory experience of life itself, and in that reflection lies its truth. Long before the kingdoms of Ooo, before the rise of the Candy People, before Finn and Jake ever picked up a sword, the universe itself had already been shaped by forces so vast and terrible that their existence seemed mythic. Among these cosmic figures was Orgalorg, an ancient entity known as the Breaker of Worlds. In the grand order of Adventure Time's cosmos, Orgalorg represents one of the oldest forms of chaos, a being whose hunger for power was so immense that even the stars themselves moved against it. To understand Orgalorg is to glimpse the roots of cosmic disruption, the way entropy and ambition threaten the fragile balance of existence. Orgalorg's origins are revealed only in fragments, whispered in flashbacks and scattered lore. Once it was a mighty alien terror, feared across galaxies. Unlike the elementals, who tied their powers to balance, or Prismo, who embodied structured wishes, Orgalorg stood for destruction without restraint. It was not content to merely exist. It sought dominion, attempting to harness the power of the Catalyst Comet, that cyclical force of destiny. This ambition made Orgalorg unique among cosmic beings. Where others embodied roles, death, life, order, chaos, Orgalorg was driven by hunger, by a desire to seize what was meant to flow naturally through the cosmos. It was not enough to be part of the cycle. Orgalorg wanted to break it, to consume it. But the universe itself resisted. The lore tells us that when Orgalorg attempted to capture the comet, the other cosmic entities intervened. The stars conspired to strike Orgalorg down, casting it from the heavens to the earth below. Here is one of Adventure Time's most fascinating mythological notes. The cosmos is not a passive backdrop, but an active order, capable of resisting threats to its balance. Orgalorg's fall shows that even in a universe filled with contradictions, there are boundaries that cannot be crossed without consequence. By seeking to dominate destiny itself, Orgalorg revealed its place not as a god of order, but as a force of primordial chaos destined to be punished. Stripped of its power and its memory, Orgalorg fell into obscurity, reincarnated in the most unlikely form, a penguin on Earth. Known to viewers as Gunter, the bumbling companion of the Ice King, this version of Orgalorg appeared ridiculous, comic, even harmless. Yet Adventure Time thrives on the juxtaposition of the absurd and the profound. In Gunter's quacks and waddles lay the essence of an ancient terror, biding its time until the truth would resurface. This transformation reveals a central theme of the cosmic order, that power and absurdity coexist. Greatness can be reduced to comedy, and comedy can hide greatness. The cosmos is not only fragile, but also ironic, and Orgalorg's story is a testament to that irony. When Orgalorg's memories resurface in the episode Orgalorg, the show peels back the mask of Gunter and reveals the truth. The penguin is not merely a pet, but a god fallen from the stars. The revelation reframes years of comedic antics as the shadow of cosmic destiny. Suddenly, the waddling sidekick becomes the breaker of worlds once again, driven to reclaim the Catalyst Comet's power. This transformation demonstrates how the cosmic order is layered, with truths hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The ordinary conceals the extraordinary, and the balance of the universe can shift on a revelation. Orgalorg's attempt to seize the comet in the comet shows how dangerous its hunger truly island. Unlike Finn, who approaches the comet as part of a cycle of destiny, Orgalorg seeks to dominate it, to absorb its power and reshape existence. In this, it embodies the corruption of cosmic order, the attempt to turn balance into tyranny. Orgalorg's failure reaffirms that destiny cannot be stolen. Finn's encounter with the comet demonstrates that while cycles may shape lives, they cannot be monopolized by those who seek power. Orgalorg's defeat is thus not merely a victory for Finn, but a reaffirmation of the cosmic balance itself. What makes Orgalorg so fascinating in Adventure Time's cosmology is how it connects chaos with memory. As Gunter, Orgalorg forgot its true self, living as a parody of its own power. Only when its memory returned did it attempt to reclaim its place in the cosmic hierarchy. This interplay between memory and identity reflects a broader theme of the series, that who we are is often shaped by what we remember, and forgetting can both protect and weaken. Orgalorg's amnesia allowed it to live unnoticed, but it also stripped it of the grandeur it once wielded. In the cosmic order, memory is power, and Orgalorg's story is a warning about what happens when that power is lost or distorted. Orgalorg also embodies the fragility of cosmic beings. Despite its immense origin, it was cast down, stripped, and humiliated. In this, Adventure Time again resists the idea of gods as untouchable. Cosmic entities are powerful, but they are not invulnerable. They can be defeated, dethroned, or even reincarnated into forms as absurd as a penguin. This fragility makes the cosmic order dynamic rather than static. Power shifts, entities fall, and even the breaker of worlds can become a comic sidekick. The cosmos of Ooo is vast, but it is never permanent. In the grand scale of Adventure Time's mythology, Orgalorg represents primordial chaos, a force that resists balance and seeks domination. It is older than kingdoms, older than the Candy People, or even the vampires, tied directly to the cycles of the comet and the destiny of heroes. Its presence reveals the stakes of the cosmic order, that balance is always threatened by forces that seek to consume it. Yet its fall also demonstrates that chaos is not unstoppable. The universe itself pushes back, and heroes like Finn carry the torch of resistance. Orgalorg's legacy endures beyond its failure. Even after it is defeated, the idea of primordial chaos lingers, embodied later in the ultimate cosmic threat, GOLB. If Orgalorg represents ambition and hunger, GOLB represents chaos in its purest form, the undoing of all structure. In this way, Orgalorg foreshadows the greater battles to come, reminding viewers that the cosmic order is never safe, that even when one breaker of worlds falls, entropy waits in the wings. And yet, in classic Adventure Time fashion, Orgalorg also remains Gunter, the absurd penguin companion drinking soda and smashing bottles on its head. This duality, terror and comedy, chaos, and cuteness encapsulates the essence of the series. The cosmic order is never one thing. It is always layered, always contradictory. Orgalorg is both a primordial terror and the most evil thing Ice King has ever encountered, but also the beloved pet of a lonely man in a crown. In this contradiction lies the truth of Oo's cosmos. Chaos and order are inseparable, bound together in a universe that is as absurd as it is profound. If Orgalorg represents hunger and chaos at the edge of the stars, then Prismo represents something altogether different: structure, order, and the strange comfort of possibility. In Adventure Time's sprawling cosmos, Prismo is one of the most beloved and enigmatic figures, a being who resides in the time room and fulfills wishes that can reshape existence itself. He is both whimsical and profoundly important, embodying the balance between infinite power and fragile mortality. Through Prismo and the rules of the Wish Dimension, the show offers one of its clearest glimpses into how the cosmic order functions: boundless potential constrained by paradox, freedom tempered by rules, and immortality tethered to mortality. Prismo is first introduced in the 5th season episode Finn the Human, divided by Jake the Dog, where Jake discovers his realm and the nature of his powers. At first, Prismo comes across as a laid-back, almost goofy figure. He enjoys video games, snacks, and casual conversation, hardly resembling the terrifying scale of entities like Orgalorg or GOLB. Yet his role is monumental. He is the Wishmaster, a being capable of granting any wish, even those that rewrite timelines and bend the laws of reality. The reveal that such a figure exists, not in myth, but in the literal structure of the cosmos, immediately expands the scope of Adventure Time's world. The kingdoms of Ooo, the vampires, and even the Mushroom War pale in comparison to the vast authority of a being who can grant any desire. But, as with all things in Adventure Time, this power comes with constraints. Prismo cannot grant wishes arbitrarily. They must be made by someone else, and each wish reshapes reality in accordance with the wish's intent. Moreover, Prismo himself is not truly immortal. His existence is tethered to a mortal body, an old man sleeping in another dimension. If the man dies or is awakened, Prismo ceases to exist. This paradox reveals the heart of Adventure Time's cosmology. Even cosmic beings are bound by contradictions. Prismo is both infinite and fragile, capable of rewriting universes, yet dependent on the unconsciousness of a single aging human. His powers are staggering, but his existence rests on a thread. This duality makes Prismo one of the most endearing cosmic figures in the series. Unlike GOLB, who is incomprehensible, or Orgalorg, who is terrifying, Prismo feels relatable. He enjoys company, relishes in simple pleasures, and treats Finn and Jake like friends rather than pawns. This friendliness disguises the gravity of his powers, but also grounds him in Adventure Time's cosmic order. The universe is not only made of terror and inevitability, but also of kindness and absurdity. Prismo represents the idea that order does not have to be cold or authoritarian. It can be warm, playful, and even generous. Yet beneath this warmth is still a reminder that every gift comes with consequences. The wish dimension itself reflects this balance. Every wish Prismo grants creates a new reality, but not without cost. When Finn wishes for the Lich to never exist, he is transported to an alternate timeline where the Mushroom War was averted, but where new horrors rise in its place. When Jake makes his own wish, the universes splinter further. Through these stories, Adventure Time shows that power does not erase complexity. Wishing away one problem does not create paradise. It simply reshapes the universe with new struggles. The cosmos resists perfection, insisting that balance must always be maintained. Prismo's realm becomes a stage for exploring the consequences of desire, showing that even cosmic order bends under the weight of human longing. Prismo's death in Wake Up and Escape from the Citadel further underscores his fragility. When the Lich manipulates Finn and Jake into waking the old man who sustains Prismo, the Wishmaster vanishes, undone not by battle, but by a simple interruption of sleep. This moment is one of the most startling reminders of how Adventure Time treats its cosmic entities. Even the most powerful are vulnerable, their existence precarious. The Lich, embodiment of death and entropy, defeats Prismo not by overpowering him, but by exploiting the paradox that defines him. Cosmic order is fragile, always at risk of unravelling, because its rules are both immense and precarious. Yet Prismo's return proves equally important in Is That You? Jake travels through strange dimensions and looping timelines to restore him, reaffirming not only their friendship, but also the resilience of the cosmic order. Prismo may be fragile, but he is not gone forever. The cycles of Adventure Time allow for return, restoration, and renewal. His rebirth also highlights the importance of relationships in the cosmos. Jake's determination to bring him back demonstrates that cosmic beings are not merely forces of nature, but also friends, companions, and parts of a larger community. In this way, Adventure Time humanizes the divine, showing that even cosmic order is built on connection. Prismo's place in the cosmic hierarchy is particularly interesting because he embodies neither strict order nor pure chaos. Instead, he occupies a liminal space, a cosmic facilitator who enables possibilities but does not dictate them. He does not force order on the universe, nor does he destroy it like GOLB. Instead, he opens doors, allowing mortals to shape their own realities. In this, he represents a different kind of balance. Adventure Time's cosmos is not divided cleanly between gods of order and chaos. It is filled with figures like Prismo, who blur the line, embodying paradox and possibility. Symbolically, Prismo reflects the nature of desire itself. Wishes can be grand, world-shaping, and transformative, but they are also fragile, fleeting, and dangerous. Just as Prismo depends on a sleeping man, so too does every wish depend on the intentions of the one who makes it. Desire can reshape reality, but it can also lead to unintended consequences. Through Prismo, Adventure Time reminds viewers that longing is part of the human condition, and that the fulfillment of wishes is never as simple as it seems. In the broader narrative, Prismo also plays a key role in Finn's journey. His interactions with Prismo expose Finn to the idea that life is not about erasing problems, but living with them. The alternate timelines created by Finn's wishes show him that there is no perfect world, no wish that can make everything right. This lesson becomes crucial in Finn's later encounters with destiny, especially with the Catalyst Comet. Prismo prepares Finn to understand that choice, not perfection, defines existence. This is part of Adventure Time's cosmic order. The universe may offer infinite possibilities, but it is up to individuals to choose meaning within them. In the end, Prismo's significance lies in how he represents both the grandeur and the fragility of the cosmos. He is the Wishmaster, capable of reshaping reality, yet he is undone by the waking of a mortal man. He is eternal, yet dependent on sleep. He is whimsical, yet profoundly wise. In him, Adventure Time encapsulates the contradictions of its cosmic order. That infinite power is bound to fragile threads, that rules exist but can be bent, and that the universe is both terrifying and kind. Prismo is not simply a cosmic entity. He is the embodiment of possibility, a reminder that the cosmos is not just about survival, but about the choices we make within its infinite complexity. If Prismo shows us how Adventure Time imagines infinite possibility, then death shows us the limits. Death is not just a concept in this universe, but a literal figure, a skeletal being with a scythe, a horse, and a bureaucratic dominion over souls. He is the one who greets mortals when their time ends, the one who ensures that the cycle of life moves forward. Yet, like every cosmic figure in Adventure Time, death is more complicated than he first appears. He is powerful but not untouchable, frightening but not absolute. His role in the cosmic order reveals how the series imagines mortality not as a wall, but as a doorway, and how even the most inevitable truths are fragile when viewed through the strange logic of Ooo. Death first appears in the second season episode, Death in Bloom, when Finn and Jake accidentally kill Princess Bubblegum's plant and must journey to the Land of the Dead to retrieve its soul. The introduction of death is presented with the same balance of comedy and gravity that defines the show's approach to cosmic matters. On one hand, the Land of the Dead is eerie, filled with skeletal creatures and looming gates, and Death himself is a grim figure, cloaked and menacing. On the other hand, he is portrayed with quirks, a deep voice, a bit of sarcasm, and the willingness to play a music contest against Finn and Jake. In this, the series immediately signals that its vision of mortality is not pure dread. Death is frightening, but he is also a character with personality, routines, and even tastes. The Land of the Dead reinforces this tension. It is not a place of eternal torment or bliss, but a domain with its own structure, overseen by death in a way that feels both bureaucratic and mythic. The souls of the dead must be accounted for, their passage controlled, and their existence beyond life regulated. This order gives the impression of a cosmic system that ensures continuity. Life does not simply vanish at death. It is managed, transitioned, and preserved in another form. Yet, as with all systems in Adventure Time, this order is not invulnerable. Finn and Jake are able to break into the Land of the Dead, bargain with death, and even win against him. Mortality, though inevitable, is not invincible. Death's willingness to bargain is one of the most fascinating aspects of his role. Unlike GOLB, who embodies chaos beyond comprehension, death can be reasoned with. He can be challenged, tricked, or even killed. This makes mortality in Adventure Time less of a final wall and more of a negotiable reality. In Death in Bloom, Finn and Jake retrieve the plant's soul not by brute force, but by engaging with death on his own terms, proving that even the end of life is subject to Adventure Time's larger theme, that rules exist but can be bent, even by mortals. Later episodes expand on death's place in the cosmos. In Together Again, the epilogue special of Adventure Time, Distant Lands, death appears once more, his domain now revealed as one of multiple dead worlds. Here, the show expands mortality into a cosmic hierarchy. The afterlife is not singular but divided, with different dead worlds reflecting different aspects of existence and death. Death is shown to rule one of these worlds, his authority immense but still limited within the grander cosmic order. The dead worlds, as a whole, reveal a layered afterlife, a structure where souls are sorted, reborn, or reincarnated, depending on the choices they made and the cycles they are bound to. This vision of mortality fits perfectly with the show's obsession with cycles. Just as comets return every 1,000 years and elementals reincarnate, so too do souls pass through cycles of death and rebirth. The dead worlds provide the scaffolding for this process, ensuring that existence is never final but always moving forward. Death's role is to manage this flow, to serve as the gatekeeper of endings that lead to new beginnings. Yet, once again, Adventure Time refuses to make him absolute. In Together Again, Finn and Jake are able to traverse the dead worlds, defy death, and even move beyond his authority. This flexibility demonstrates that while mortality is universal, it is not fixed in a single form. Death is part of the order, but he is not the order itself. Symbolically, death represents inevitability, but inevitability as something that can be confronted rather than feared. Finn and Jake's willingness to bargain with him reflects their larger arc as heroes. They never accept inevitability at face value, whether it is the Vampire Court, the Ice King's madness, or GOLB's chaos. Death is part of the cosmic structure, but Adventure Time insists that even inevitability is negotiable, that the rules of existence are not cages but frameworks that can be reshaped by courage, wit, and love. Death's relationship with his horse further humanizes him. Though minor in screen time, the horse reveals that even cosmic beings have attachments, routines, and companions. Death is not pure abstraction, but a figure with quirks, perhaps even vulnerabilities. This reflects Adventure Time's broader cosmology, where gods and monsters are never purely divine, but always tinged with humanity. Just as Prismo enjoys snacks and video games, death enjoys music and companionship. The cosmic order is never sterile. It is alive with personality, irony, and contradiction. Thematically, Death's domain also forces characters to reckon with their own identities. In Together Again, Finn's journey through the dead worlds is as much about his relationship with Jake as it is about mortality. The traversal of death becomes a metaphor for love, loyalty, and the refusal to let bonds be severed by inevitability. In this, death becomes less of a villain and more of a necessary backdrop, a force that defines the stakes of existence. Without death, life would lose its urgency, and choices would lose their weight. By personifying death, the series makes mortality both terrifying and meaningful, a cosmic truth that gives shape to the lives lived within it. Death's fragility, however, remains an essential theme. He can be defeated, replaced, and challenged. In the broader hierarchy of the dead worlds, he is powerful but not ultimate. Other forces, such as reincarnation and the Catalyst Comet, operate beyond him. His authority is immense but partial. This reinforces the series' central vision. No entity, no matter how cosmic, is truly absolute. The order of the universe is maintained not by a single unchanging God, but by a shifting balance of forces, each limited, each vulnerable, each essential. In the end, Death's role in Adventure Time's cosmology is to remind us that endings are real but not final, that mortality shapes existence but does not erase it. His domain reveals that the universe has structure, that souls are managed and cycles are preserved, but also that those structures are flexible, open to defiance and transformation. Death is inevitable, but inevitability is never the same as finality. In the cosmos of Ooo, even death has rules, and rules, as always, can be bent. If death defines endings in Adventure Time, then life represents the other side of the coin: beginnings, renewal, and creation. Where death is skeletal, cloaked, and grim, life is bright, radiant, and nurturing, often depicted as a glowing female form who embodies vitality itself. Together, death and life form one of the clearest dualities in the show's cosmic hierarchy. But, as with everything in Ooo, their relationship is not simple. Life is not simply the opposite of death, nor is she portrayed as purely benevolent. She is as strange, as quirky, and as unpredictable as every other cosmic being in Adventure Time. Her presence reveals that creation and vitality are not always comforting, that the cycle of existence is not simply a battle between good and evil, but a dance of balance between forces that define each other. Life's most direct appearance comes in Together Again, the Distant Lands epilogue that expands the scope of Adventure Time's mythology. After Finn and Jake traverse the Dead Worlds, they encounter Life, who serves as the cosmic counterpart to death. If death is the end of all things, then life is the beginning of them. She radiates warmth and vibrancy, her form glowing and serene. Yet, like death, she is not abstract, but personal. She has a voice, a personality, and a role within the larger structure of the cosmos. By making her a character rather than a concept, Adventure Time continues its tradition of humanizing the divine, presenting even the most fundamental forces of existence as beings with quirks and complexities. The relationship between life and death is central to the show's cosmology. They are not enemies locked in an eternal struggle, but counterparts, each necessary for the other. Without death, life would spiral endlessly, unchecked and meaningless. Without life, death would be nothing but silence. Together, they form the cycle of existence, ensuring that the universe has both beginnings and endings, growth and decline, creation and dissolution. This balance reflects one of Adventure Time's core truths: that no force, no matter how grand, is complete on its own. Order requires chaos, love requires loss, and life requires death. By personifying both sides of this equation, the show makes the cosmic order tangible, even intimate. Life's role in Finn's journey underscores this theme. When he encounters her in Together Again, she does not simply represent the joy of renewal. She embodies the possibility of moving forward after loss. Finn's adventures in the Dead Worlds are defined by his longing to reunite with Jake, to resist the inevitability of separation. Life offers the counterbalance, showing him that even endings give way to new beginnings, that death is not the erasure of connection, but part of an ongoing cycle. In this, life is not a comfort in the traditional sense, but a reminder of continuity, a reassurance that existence moves forward even after loss. Yet life, like all cosmic entities in Adventure Time, is not portrayed as flawless or purely benevolent. She is powerful, but she can also be unsettling. In her radiance lies the reminder that growth is not always painless. Life creates, but creation brings responsibility. Growth demands change, and change often brings discomfort. This nuance prevents her from being reduced to a simplistic figure of light or hope. Just as death has personality and quirks, life carries her own strangeness, her own gravity, and her own authority. The show resists the temptation to portray her as an angelic saviour. Instead, she is a counterpart, neither above nor below death, but equal. Thematically, life represents Adventure Time's fascination with renewal and transformation. Throughout the series, characters are constantly changing, growing, or reinventing themselves. Simon becomes the Ice King, then finds his humanity again. Marceline shifts from child to hunter to vampire queen. Princess Bubblegum rules as both tyrant and ally, reshaping her identity as circumstances demand. These transformations mirror the presence of life in the cosmos, reminding us that existence is never static. Creation is not a single act, but an ongoing process, and life embodies that process, on a universal scale. Life also expands the scope of Adventure Time's reincarnation themes. While death manages the passage of souls, life ensures their return. Together, they maintain the wheel of existence, the cycle that allows Finn to be reborn across ages, the comets to return, and Ooo itself to persist despite apocalypse after apocalypse. Life is not just about birth, but about continuity, the assurance that endings give rise to beginnings, that nothing truly disappears. Her role affirms the resilience of the cosmos, its ability to endure and renew itself, no matter how many times it is scarred by war, entropy, or chaos. Symbolically, life can be seen as the embodiment of hope, but not naive hope. She does not erase the pain of death, nor does she deny its necessity. Instead, she insists that meaning is found in the cycle itself, in the way beginnings and endings shape each other. This is reflected in the way Finn reacts to her presence. He does not leave the dead worlds with grief erased, but with acceptance. Life does not remove his pain, but gives it context, reminding him that even loss is part of a larger story, one that continues beyond the boundaries of mortality. In contrast to GOLB, who represents chaos and destruction, life represents continuity and resilience. Yet the two are not entirely separate. Even GOLB's chaos can give rise to transformation, as seen in the finale when Betty sacrifices herself to merge with him, reshaping his chaos into something new. In this way, life's influence can be felt even in chaos, just as death's influence can be felt in renewal. The boundaries between these forces are porous, reflecting Adventure Time's insistence that no concept exists in isolation. Life and death are opposites, but they are also intertwined, and their interplay shapes not just the cosmos, but the personal journeys of the characters we follow. What makes life particularly significant in the cosmic order is how little she is used in the series. Her appearance is brief compared to Death, Prismo, or GOLB, but her presence is enough to tilt the scale of meaning. By introducing her late in the saga, Adventure Time ensures that her arrival feels like a revelation, a final piece of the puzzle that clarifies the cosmos. She is the missing half of a duality that has always been implied, and her introduction makes explicit what the series has long suggested, that existence is defined by cycles, and those cycles require both ends and beginnings. In the end, life's role in Adventure Time is to embody the possibility of continuation, to stand as the antithesis to death without erasing him. She ensures that endings are never final, that every loss leads to renewal, that the universe is a wheel that never stops turning. Her presence in the cosmic order reaffirms the show's central philosophy, that chaos and order, endings and beginnings, despair and hope, all coexist. To see life alongside death is to understand that the cosmos of Ooo is not governed by absolutes, but by balance, a balance that is fragile, strange, and deeply meaningful. If death and life reveal the universe's boundaries, then the Catalyst Comet reveals its rhythm. In Adventure Time, few cosmic phenomena are as mysterious, as cyclical, and as pivotal as the comet. Appearing once every 1,000 years, the Catalyst Comet is not simply a celestial body, but a spark of destiny, a vessel of transformation that alters the course of history. It embodies recurrence, the return of possibility across ages, and the renewal of purpose in different forms. In the grand cosmic order of Ooo, the comet is the heartbeat of the universe, marking time not by minutes or centuries, but by eras. The Catalyst Comet is introduced explicitly in the 6th season, though its influence ripples through the series long before that. In the comet, the phenomenon descends upon Ooo as a glowing mass streaking across the sky, drawing the attention of Finn, Orgalorg, and cosmic entities alike. To ordinary creatures, it might look like a simple astronomical event, but to the cosmic order, it is much more. The comet is a harbinger, bringing with it the essence of reincarnation, of choice, of destiny. Those who interact with it are forever changed, and the comet's arrival always signals a turning point. Finn's connection to the Catalyst Comet is one of the most profound revelations in the series. It is revealed that Finn himself is the reincarnation of a comet soul, one of many across the universe, who descend, live, die, and return. This positions him not merely as a human boy caught in adventures, but as part of a cosmic cycle that predates his birth and will continue long after. His heroism is not random. It is tied to the comet's rhythm, the destiny of beings who arrive to alter history. Yet crucially, Adventure Time refuses to reduce him to destiny alone. Finn may be shaped by the comet, but he defines himself by his choices. The comet may bring him into existence, but it is his will that makes him a hero. This tension between destiny and freedom is central to the comet's meaning. In the comet, Finn is offered the chance to leave with the comet, to ascend into a higher state of existence beyond Ooo. It is the ultimate temptation: transcendence, freedom from struggle, entry into a cosmic order beyond the pains of life. Yet Finn refuses. He chooses to stay, to remain grounded in Ooo, to continue living among his friends. In this moment, the comet reveals its true purpose: not to dictate fate, but to present possibility. The comet offers paths, but it does not compel. It embodies recurrence, but it leaves meaning to those who encounter it. Orgalorg's obsession with the comet demonstrates the danger of misunderstanding its role. As revealed in Chapter 2, Orgalorg sought to consume the comet's power, to dominate destiny rather than participate in it. This ambition is what led to its fall from the stars, cast down by the universe itself. In the comet, Orgalorg once again attempts to seize its energy, to rewrite the cosmic order in its own image. Yet it fails, because the comet cannot be monopolized. Its essence is not a weapon to be stolen, but a rhythm to be lived. Orgalorg's failure reaffirms that destiny cannot be hoarded, it must be experienced. The Catalyst Comet also ties into Adventure Time's broader themes of reincarnation. Finn's identity as a comet soul situates him within a continuum of past and future selves. He is not merely a singular individual, but one expression of a recurring essence. The show hints at this through episodes like The Vault, where Finn recalls past lives, including Shoko, a one-armed girl who lived in Ooo long before him. The comet is the cosmic mechanism behind these cycles, ensuring that souls return, transformed but continuous. In this, Adventure Time reflects real-world philosophies of reincarnation, blending them with its own surreal mythology. What makes the comet so compelling is its ambiguity. Unlike Death, who has a clear role, or Prismo, who operates within defined rules, the comet is more abstract. It does not speak in commands or bargains, but in offers. It does not enforce destiny, but invites it. Its role in the cosmic order is not to control, but to provide possibility. This makes it one of the most mysterious forces in Adventure Time's cosmology, powerful enough to shape eras, but passive enough to leave meaning to mortals. Thematically, the comet represents the cycles of growth and change that define not only Ooo, but the characters themselves. Finn grows from boy to hero, from reckless adventurer to thoughtful young man, echoing the cycle of descent and return. The comet arrives every 1,000 years, but Finn himself embodies that cycle in miniature, changing with every season, dying and being reborn in metaphorical ways long before his literal reincarnation is revealed. The comet, then, is not only cosmic but personal, a reflection of the way individuals grow, change, and transform across their lives. The arrival of the comet also reframes Adventure Time's vision of apocalypse. The Mushroom War destroyed the old world, and the vampires once ruled in terror, but the comet reminds us that these destructions are not endpoints. They are part of larger cycles of renewal. Just as the comet returns every 1,000 years, so too does Ooo rebuild, transform, and endure. In this way, the comet is a symbol of resilience, of the cosmos's refusal to let any ending be final. Where GOLB embodies destruction without meaning, the comet embodies recurrence with purpose. In the cosmic hierarchy, the Catalyst Comet occupies a unique place. It is not a deity with personality or a domain, but a phenomenon that structures time itself. It is both impersonal and deeply intimate, shaping the cosmos while shaping the lives of individuals like Finn. It represents the intersection of the universal and the personal, the way destiny and choice collide. By situating Finn within its rhythm, Adventure Time grounds its cosmic order not only in gods and monsters, but in the boy at the centre of the story. Ultimately, the Catalyst Comet teaches that destiny is real but not binding. Cycles exist, but they do not dictate meaning. The comet will return, again and again, offering its spark to new eras and new heroes. But what those heroes do with it, whether they seize it like Orgalorg, ascend with it like previous comet souls, or stay grounded like Finn, is their choice. The comet embodies possibility, and in possibility lies freedom. Adventure Time's cosmos is defined not only by gods and comets, by death and life, but also by the primal forces that shape existence at its most fundamental level. Among these are the elementals: candy, fire, slime, and ice. Unlike singular entities such as Prismo or Orgalorg, the elementals are recurring embodiments of natural forces, reborn throughout history in different vessels. They are not only characters, but cosmic principles given form, eternal presences in the universe's structure. To understand them is to see how Ooo itself is woven together, not only as a patchwork of kingdoms and people, but as a balance of elemental powers that underlie reality. The elementals are revealed in the later seasons, most notably in the miniseries Elements. Patience Street Pym, the ice elemental of a previous age, serves as our guide to their mythology. She explains that every era is defined by the presence of 4 beings, each embodying one of the elements, each balancing the others. They are less like rulers or deities than archetypes, personifications of the cosmos's deepest currents. The elementals are eternal, not in body, but in essence, reincarnating across ages in new forms. This places them alongside the Catalyst Comet as another cyclical force, an eternal rhythm of existence. In the current age, the elementals are embodied by Princess Bubblegum as the Candy Elemental, Flame Princess as the Fire Elemental, Slime Princess as the Slime Elemental, and Ice King, or more precisely, the Madness of Simon under the Crown as the Vessel of Ice. Their presence is not coincidental. The cosmos ensures that the 4 are always present, maintaining balance across Ooo. This balance is not always harmonious. Often, it is fraught with conflict, rivalry, or chaos. But even in strife, the presence of the 4 ensures that the elemental cycle remains intact. Each elemental represents more than just a physical force. Candy embodies community, structure, and nurturing, but also control, assimilation, and rigidity. Fire embodies passion, destruction, and transformation, but also renewal, growth, and energy. Slime embodies flexibility, chaos, and frivolity, but also adaptability and resilience. Ice embodies stasis, memory, and preservation, but also detachment, sorrow, and loss. Together, they form a philosophical as well as a physical balance, ensuring that no one trait dominates existence entirely. Their interplay mirrors the contradictions of the cosmos itself: life and death, destiny and freedom, order and chaos. Patient Street Pym's reawakening demonstrates the dangers of imbalance. After centuries frozen in ice, she emerges into a world where the other elementals are ill prepared for their roles. Princess Bubblegum is a ruler, not yet aware of her deeper nature. Flame Princess is still defining her power and her autonomy. Slime Princess is frivolous, disinterested in cosmic duty. And the Ice Elemental has been fractured into Simon's madness, his essence diluted by the crown's corruption. In this imbalance, Patience sees weakness, and she manipulates the others in her attempt to restore elemental dominance. Her actions trigger the elemental crisis, a cataclysm in which Ooo itself is reshaped into candy, slime, fire, and ice. The elemental crisis reveals the sheer scale of their power. When unleashed, the elementals do not merely rule kingdoms, they transform reality. Finn and Jake witness Ooo itself warped into elemental states, its people assimilated into candy or slime forms, its environment consumed by fire or frozen in ice. This transformation shows that the elementals are not simply metaphors, but literal cosmic forces with the ability to rewrite existence. They are the fabric of Ooo, as fundamental as the laws of physics. Their presence affirms that the cosmic order is not upheld only by beings like Death or Prismo, but by eternal forces that permeate reality itself. Yet the elementals, like all forces in Adventure Time, are not absolute. Their power can spiral out of control, leading to catastrophe. The crisis demonstrates that balance is not guaranteed, it must be maintained, often by mortals like Finn and Jake. This fragility reflects the show's broader cosmology, that even eternal forces are vulnerable, that cycles can be disrupted, and that survival depends on cooperation and choice. The elementals are eternal, but their harmony is not. Symbolically, the elementals also mirror the personalities of those who embody them. Princess Bubblegum's role as the candy elemental reflects her obsession with order, structure, and control. But it also highlights the dangers of assimilation, her tendency to subsume individuality into the collective. Flame Princess's fiery temper mirrors her destructive element, but her journey toward balance and independence demonstrates fire's potential for growth and transformation. Slime Princess's chaotic frivolity represents the unpredictability of slime, but her resilience in crisis shows its adaptability. Ice King's tragic madness, born of the crown's curse, embodies ice as stasis, sorrow, and memory, but also as a force of preservation that ultimately saves Ooo in the finale. In this way, the elementals show that cosmic forces are not distant abstractions, but lived through characters, their personalities shaping and reflecting universal truths. Thematically, the elementals underscore Adventure Time's obsession with balance. Just as life and death, or order and chaos, define each other, so too do the elements. Candy without fire becomes stagnation. Fire without slime becomes uncontrolled destruction. Slime without ice becomes chaos without memory. Ice without candy becomes stasis without community. Each is incomplete without the others, and the cosmos ensures their eternal recurrence precisely because balance is essential. The elementals remind us that no force is whole in isolation. Harmony requires opposition and cooperation. The elemental crisis also foreshadows the series finale, Come Along With Me, where Ooo once again faces the threat of assimilation, this time not into candy or slime, but into chaos itself, through GOLB. In both cases, survival depends not on one force triumphing, but on unity, on the fragile balance between powers and people. The elementals are therefore not only part of the cosmos's fabric, but also narrative symbols of the show's ultimate philosophy, that life is sustained not by dominance, but by balance. By the end of Elements, the crisis is undone, but the truth remains. The elementals will always be part of Ooo, recurring in new forms, shaping reality across ages. Their presence affirms that the cosmos is never random, but patterned, structured by eternal forces that rise, fall, and rise again. They are not gods to be worshipped, but truths to be lived with, reminders that existence itself is a balance of fire and ice, candy and slime, creation and destruction, order and chaos. Ultimately, the elementals show that Adventure Time's cosmic order is not merely about singular beings, but about recurring forces that shape reality. They embody the resilience of Ooo, the cycles that ensure its survival, despite war, apocalypse, or chaos. They remind us that balance is fragile but enduring, that harmony requires vigilance, and that even in a world as strange as Ooo, the deepest truths are found in the interplay of opposites. In Adventure Time's strange and fragile cosmos, most entities embody paradoxes or balances. Death has his opposite in life. The elementals counter one another. Prismo's omnipotence is tethered to the vulnerability of a mortal dreamer. But there is one being who refuses balance, one who exists outside the cycles of renewal and opposition, one who does not coexist with order, but devours it. That being is GOLB, the godlike presence of pure chaos, entropy, and madness. GOLB is not only the most powerful entity in Adventure Time, but also the one that most threatens the very structure of the cosmic order. To understand GOLB is to understand the ultimate fear of the series. That meaning itself can be undone. Hints of GOLB's existence appear early, though it is not fully revealed until later seasons. The first clear glimpse comes in Puhoi, when Ice King mentions GOLB in one of his rambling speeches, treating it casually, as if Oo's people are dimly aware of this cosmic terror. Later, in You Forgot Your Floaties, Magic Man invokes GOLB, revealing the god as the source of his chaos magic and his descent into madness. Each of these mentions layers GOLB into the background of Oo's mythology, a looming presence that characters whisper about long before it appears on screen. When it does finally appear, in Come Along With Me, the series finale, its arrival feels like the culmination of every chaotic thread in the show's cosmology. Visually, GOLB is one of the most unsettling designs in the series. A massive, red, formless being with a distorted face, jagged teeth, and multiple eyes, GOLB drifts in the void, devouring structure wherever it goes. Its arrival brings not fire, not ice, not even death, but distortion. Matter warps, reality collapses, and order dissolves into grotesque forms. GOLB's influence does not kill in the traditional sense, but erases the integrity of beings, reshaping them into chaos-born abominations. This corruption is seen most vividly when Ooo's people are transformed during the finale, their bodies twisted by proximity to GOLB's presence. This makes GOLB unique among Adventure Time's cosmic forces. It does not simply destroy, it unravels. It takes what is structured and makes it incoherent. Thematically, GOLB represents entropy itself, the inevitable pull of all things toward disorder. In contrast to the elementals, who embody recurring balance, or the Catalyst Comet, which embodies renewal, GOLB embodies collapse without renewal, destruction without meaning. Its power lies not in opposition, but in annihilation. Where life and death form a cycle, GOLB exists outside cycles. It does not create beginnings or endings, it makes both meaningless. This is why the finale frames its arrival as the ultimate crisis. If GOLB cannot be stopped, then not only Ooo, but the very principles of its cosmos will cease to matter. Magic Man's relationship to GOLB is particularly telling. Once a brilliant Martian magician, Magic Man loses his mind and embraces chaos after his wife Margles is taken by GOLB. His madness is not merely personal grief, but cosmic infection, the result of proximity to an entity that warps meaning itself. Through Magic Man, Adventure Time shows that GOLB is not only a cosmic force, but a psychological one, representing the collapse of coherence, the descent into madness when order breaks down. This duality, cosmic and personal, reflects the show's central philosophy, that the forces shaping the universe are mirrored in the struggles of individuals. Betty's arc intertwines with GOLB in a way that solidifies his role as the ultimate cosmic threat. Desperate to save Simon from the Ice King's curse, Betty sacrifices herself by merging with GOLB in the finale. Her love becomes both a weapon and a surrender, reshaping GOLB's chaos by offering herself as his vessel. In doing so, she demonstrates that even entropy can be redirected, if not controlled. GOLB cannot be defeated in the traditional sense, not by swords, not by elemental power, not even by Prismo's wishes. But Betty's choice reframes his chaos, channeling it into something that reflects her devotion to Simon. This act affirms one of Adventure Time's deepest truths, that love and sacrifice can give meaning even in the face of meaninglessness. GOLB's arrival in Come Along With Me also reframes the series' long engagement with Apocalypse. The Mushroom War was a man-made catastrophe. The vampires represented cycles of fear, the elemental crisis reflected imbalance, but GOLB is something else. He is apocalypse without reason, destruction without agency. His arrival shows that not all catastrophes can be explained or fought in traditional terms. Some are simply the dissolution of meaning, the collapse of structure. This makes GOLB terrifying, not because he is evil in a moral sense, but because he is indifferent. He does not hate Ooo. He unravels it simply by existing. Yet, even in the face of this cosmic terror, Adventure Time does not collapse into despair. The finale shows that GOLB's corruption can be resisted through unity, music, and love. When Finn, Jake, and the people of Ooo sing together, they hold on to their identities even as chaos surrounds them. Marceline and Bubblegum's relationship, the strength of friendship, the will to endure, these become bulwarks against GOLB's unravelling power. In this way, the series insists that even entropy can be met with meaning, that chaos can be answered not with domination but with connection. Symbolically, GOLB represents the shadow of existence. If life and death define cycles, if comets define destiny, if elementals define balance, then GOLB represents what happens when all of that fails. He is the void into which all structure collapses, the terror of incoherence, yet in true Adventure Time fashion, he is not simply a villain to be slain, but a truth to be faced. Betty's sacrifice shows that even the void can be given meaning, even entropy can be reframed. GOLB is undefeatable, but he is not untransformable. In the grand cosmic order, GOLB's presence ensures that nothing is absolute. Balance, cycles, and even gods are fragile because chaos is always waiting at the edges. Yet paradoxically, this fragility gives life meaning. The knowledge that everything can unravel makes connection, love, and creativity all the more urgent. Adventure Time does not deny the reality of chaos, but insists that meaning arises in spite of it. GOLB, then, is not only the embodiment of entropy, but the backdrop against which every act of love and unity shines brighter. Ultimately, GOLB is the most terrifying and most profound of Adventure Time's cosmic figures. He is chaos without reason, destruction without end, entropy without balance. Yet he is also the one who proves the resilience of Ooo, because even against his formless horror, the people of Ooo endure. Betty's sacrifice, Finn's choices, Jake's loyalty, Bubblegum, and Marceline's love, all of these become acts of defiance against the void. In facing GOLB, Adventure Time reveals its ultimate vision of the cosmos, that chaos is inevitable, but meaning is chosen. Adventure Time's cosmos is never defined by a single force. It is a world of paradoxes, where balance exists but is always fragile, where order and chaos are locked not in a simple battle, but in a shifting dance. Every cosmic figure, every cycle, every myth of Ooo can be understood as a reflection of this central tension. On one side lies order, expressed through the elementals, through life and death, through the Catalyst Comet, and through structures like the Dead Worlds. On the other side lies chaos, embodied in Orgalorg's hunger, Magic Man's madness, and, above all, GOLB's formless entropy. To understand the mythology of Adventure Time is to see how these forces interact, not as enemies locked in eternal war, but as truths that shape existence together. Order in Ooo is not simple stability. It is layered, contradictory, and imperfect. The elementals ensure balance, but their balance can collapse into assimilation or destruction. Death enforces mortality, but he can be bargained with, undermined, or replaced. The Catalyst Comet carries destiny, but it leaves space for freedom. Even Prismo, one of the most structured figures in the cosmos, exists only because a mortal body sleeps elsewhere, linking infinite order to fragile humanity. In this way, order in Adventure Time is never absolute. It is fragile, contingent, constantly tested. Yet its very fragility makes it meaningful. It provides a framework within which characters can act, grow, and make choices. Chaos, by contrast, appears in many guises. Orgalorg is chaos driven by ambition, seeking to dominate the comet and break cycles for its own hunger. Magic Man is chaos born of grief, channeling madness into trickery and cruelty. And GOLB is chaos stripped of motive, pure entropy that unravels meaning itself. Each represents a different shade of disorder, from the personal to the cosmic, from the tragic to the incomprehensible. What unites them is their refusal to abide by the cycles and balances of the universe. Chaos disrupts, bends, or obliterates the frameworks that hold existence together. The mythology of Adventure Time reveals that order and chaos are not equal forces, but they are inseparable. Without chaos, order would stagnate, ossify into rigidity. Without order, chaos would consume everything into incoherence. Their interplay generates the motion of the cosmos, the cycles of renewal, the transformations that define both Ooo and its characters. This is why the series never presents chaos as something that can be eradicated, or order as something that can permanently triumph. Instead, both coexist, shaping one another in ways that are unpredictable but essential. Consider the elemental crisis. On the surface, it is a disaster of order. Candy assimilates all into sameness. Fire spreads uncontrollably. Ice freezes. Slime dissolves. Yet, at its heart, the crisis is fueled by chaos. Patient Street Pim's manipulations destabilize the balance, her desire for control spiraling into disorder. The result is a moment where order and chaos blur, where balance collapses because of ambition, and only cooperation can restore it. Here, mythology teaches that order alone is not safety. Balance is only meaningful when it resists both stagnation and disruption. The arrival of the Catalyst Comet also demonstrates this tension. The comet embodies cosmic order in its cycles, returning every 1,000 years to seed destiny. Yet the comet also brings chaos, because its arrival disrupts history, reshaping the course of civilizations. Orgalorg's attempt to consume it makes the comet a battlefield of order and chaos, destiny and ambition. Finn's refusal to ascend with the comet represents a third path, not submission to destiny, not hunger for domination, but freedom within the cycle. This choice embodies the series' philosophy, that order and chaos exist, but meaning emerges in how individuals navigate them. GOLB, however, complicates the mythology further. Unlike Orgalorg or Magic Man, GOLB is not chaos that can be negotiated with or understood. He is chaos without order, entropy without balance. His presence in the finale represents the extreme end of the spectrum, the collapse of all structure into incoherence. Yet even here, Adventure Time insists that chaos can be reframed. Betty's sacrifice to merge with GOLB transforms his formlessness into something shaped by love. The chaos does not vanish, but it is given meaning. This act demonstrates that mythology does not position chaos as defeat, but as challenge, something that can inspire resilience, unity, and sacrifice. The mythology also insists that order and chaos are reflected in the personal struggles of its characters. Princess Bubblegum embodies order, her obsession with control and structure reflecting the candy elemental within her. Marceline embodies chaos in her free-spirited lifestyle, her vampiric hunger, and her resistance to authority. Yet both characters evolve, their relationship showing that neither force is sufficient alone. PB learns to temper control with compassion, while Marceline finds meaning in connection rather than rebellion. Their personal journeys mirror the cosmic balance, suggesting that the mythology of Ooo is lived out not only in the stars, but in the hearts of individuals. Finn himself stands at the centre of this mythological tension. As a reincarnated comet soul, he is tied to cosmic order, part of a pattern that repeats across ages. Yet he consistently resists being defined by destiny, insisting on his freedom to choose. His refusal to ascend with the comet, his determination to fight chaos, his acceptance of mortality, all reflect the series' insistence that meaning is not dictated by either order or chaos, but emerges from the choices made within them. Finn becomes the embodiment of balance, a hero shaped by cycles but defined by freedom. Adventure Time's mythology also frames music, art, and friendship as weapons against chaos. When GOLB threatens to unravel Ooo, the people resist not with raw power, but with song, with unity, with love. These acts create order not by suppressing chaos, but by giving it context, by choosing meaning in the face of dissolution. Mythology here teaches that order is not imposed from above, but built from below in the relationships and connections between beings. In this sense, the series suggests that order is fragile, chaos inevitable, but meaning chosen. What makes Adventure Time's cosmology so distinctive is its refusal to flatten this interplay into a binary. In many myths, order is good, chaos is evil. But in Ooo, order can be oppressive, as seen in Bubblegum's authoritarian tendencies or the assimilation of the Candy Crisis. Chaos can be liberating, as in Marceline's freedom, or the playful absurdity of Magic Man before his grief. Even GOLB, the ultimate threat, becomes the vessel for Betty's sacrifice, his chaos reframed into an act of love. The mythology insists that both forces contain danger and possibility, and that the true work of existence is finding balance between them. Ultimately, the myth of order and chaos in Adventure Time is not about victory, but about coexistence. The cosmos is fragile, cycles break, gods fall, chaos returns. Yet meaning endures because beings like Finn, Jake, Bubblegum, and Marceline choose to resist despair. They navigate the tension, sometimes failing, sometimes succeeding, but always living within the dance of order and chaos. This is the final lesson of Adventure Time's mythology, that the universe is neither stable nor doomed, but alive with contradictions, and that those contradictions are what make existence meaningful. Not all cosmic beings in Adventure Time exist at the extremes of balance or entropy. Some live in the in-between, occupying spaces that are both absurd and divine. Tricksters whose power unsettles the order of Ooo, not through annihilation, but through mischief, whimsy, or unorthodox authority. These figures complicate the cosmic order because they do not fit neatly into the categories of order or chaos. They are liminal, unsettling, but necessary, embodiments of how strangeness itself is part of the universe's design. Two of the most fascinating among these are Magic Man, the grief-stricken Martian whose trickery reshaped his life and those around him, and Grob Gob Globgrod, the multi-headed cosmic being who embodied responsibility, law, and sacrifice. Together, they represent the playful, tragic, and paradoxical side of the cosmos, reminding us that not all power is orderly or destructive. Sometimes it is simply strange. Magic Man is one of the earliest trickster figures introduced in the series. First appearing in Freak City, he transforms Finn into a giant foot as a casual prank, delighting in cruelty masked as whimsy. At first, he seems like nothing more than a comedic antagonist, a chaos agent whose role is to frustrate the heroes and amuse himself. But as with all things in Adventure Time, his story deepens. We later learn that Magic Man was once a respected Martian magician, one of the highest beings of his society. His descent into madness is tied not to whimsy but to grief, the loss of his wife, Margles, who was taken by GOLB. Stripped of joy, he turned his pain outward, cloaking it in mockery, cruelty, and chaos. His pranks, once silly, become expressions of trauma. This revelation reframes Magic Man not as a villain, but as a tragic figure. His madness is not innate, but born of loss. GOLB's entropy infected him by stealing what he loved, unravelling his sense of coherence. His trickery becomes a coping mechanism, a way of externalizing the chaos he feels inside. In this way, Magic Man embodies the personal dimension of cosmic chaos, the way great powers, like GOLB, do not just shape universes, but also shatter individuals. His madness mirrors the madness of the cosmos, making him both a victim and an agent of disruption. Yet, Magic Man is not beyond change. In You Forgot Your Floaties, his arc collides with Betty, Simon's devoted partner, as they both seek to grapple with cosmic forces beyond their control. Magic Man is stripped of his powers by Grob Gob Globgrod, forced to confront his grief without the shield of trickery. Later, he re-emerges as normal man, attempting to live without the chaos that once defined him. His journey shows that even trickster gods can be transformed, that madness is not permanent, and that healing, however imperfect, is possible. His evolution from Magic Man to Normal Man mirrors the series' broader theme of cycles: destruction followed by renewal, grief followed by growth. If Magic Man represents the chaos of the personal, Grob Gob Globgrod represents the authority of the cosmic collective. Introduced in Sons of Mars, Grob Gob Globgrod is a four-headed Martian deity who embodies responsibility, law, and cosmic order. Their presence is strange and comedic, four heads arguing with one another, speaking in unison or discord, but also solemn as they oversee trials, enforce justice, and maintain the laws of the Martian society. In them, we see Adventure Time's fascination with paradox, beings who are simultaneously absurd and divine, whose authority is tempered by their ridiculousness. Grob Gob Globgrod plays a crucial role in Magic Man's story. It is they who strip him of his powers, forcing him onto a path of change. Their authority over him reflects the cosmic hierarchy of Mars, where even trickster gods are accountable to law. Yet their story does not end with authority alone. In Astral Plane, Grob Gob Globgrod sacrifices themselves to protect Mars from a comet, dying in an act of cosmic responsibility. Their death demonstrates that even gods of law are not eternal, that cosmic order is fragile and maintained only through sacrifice. Symbolically, Grob Gob Globgrod represents the collective nature of authority. Four heads in one body, they are literally many voices in one being, embodying consensus and conflict at once. Their decisions reflect the paradox of governance, the need to balance multiple perspectives, the tension between unity and individuality. Their sacrifice for Mars demonstrates the weight of responsibility, the idea that cosmic order is not simply maintained by existing, but by choosing to uphold it, even at the cost of life. Together, Magic Man and Grob Gob Globgrod embody the trickster dimension of Adventure Time's cosmology. They complicate the binary of order and chaos by existing in between. Magic Man's madness creates chaos, but also reflects trauma. His transformation into Normal Man shows healing within the cosmic order. Grob Gob Globgrod enforces law, but does so with absurdity, their authority tempered by humour, their sacrifice tempered by strangeness. Both figures demonstrate that the cosmos is not only about gods of life and death, or forces of balance and entropy. It is also about oddities, beings whose existence defies simple categorization. Their presence also reflects the series' philosophy that the universe is both serious and silly. Magic Man may prank Finn into a foot, but that prank becomes part of a story about grief and resilience. Grob Gob Globgrod may bicker among themselves, but their sacrifice becomes one of the most solemn acts in the series. The cosmic order is not austere. It is surreal, playful, and often ridiculous. This refusal to separate the comedic from the profound is what gives Adventure Time its unique texture, and it is embodied perfectly in these trickster figures. Thematically, Magic Man and Grob Gob Globgrod remind us that cosmic order is not about perfection, but about contradiction. Trickster gods disrupt certainty, forcing characters and viewers alike to grapple with ambiguity. Magic Man shows that even cruelty may hide grief, that even madness may contain the possibility of healing. Grob Gob Globgrod shows that even authority may be absurd, that even gods of law are fragile. In their contradictions, they embody the truth of Adventure Time's cosmos, that the universe is not a tidy hierarchy, but a tapestry of paradoxes. Ultimately, the tricksters of Ooo ensure that the cosmic order is never stable, never simple, and never predictable. They remind us that authority can be strange, that chaos can be tragic, and that healing is always possible, even for gods. In them, the series affirms that the cosmos is not only about grand battles between order and chaos, but also about the strangeness in between, the absurdities that make existence unpredictable and, in their own way, beautiful. When Adventure Time first introduced Death in Bloom, mortality seemed straightforward. Souls passed into his realm, their existence overseen by a skeletal figure with a scythe and a horse. But as the series expanded, especially with Together Again in the Distant Lands epilogue, this vision grew far more complex. Mortality in Ooo is not a single domain, but a layered system, a hierarchy of dead worlds that structure the afterlife. Through these realms, Adventure Time reveals not just how death is managed, but how existence itself is cycled, sorted, and reborn. The dead worlds are both cosmic bureaucracy and spiritual map, demonstrating once again how the series builds its mythology out of paradox. The infinite beyond is vast, mysterious, and frightening, yet also structured, almost organized. The dead worlds are depicted as 9 separate planes, each with its own qualities, rulers, and functions. Death presides over one, but his authority is not universal. Instead, each world serves as a layer in the grand afterlife system, a place where souls move depending on their nature, choices, and cosmic destiny. In Together Again, Finn travels through several of these realms on his quest to reunite with Jake, encountering landscapes that range from pastoral to nightmarish, each reflecting a different aspect of existence. This multiplicity complicates the simple dichotomy of life and death. It suggests that the cosmos does not treat mortality as a single endpoint, but as a spectrum of continuities. Shoko, Finn's past life first revealed in the vault, becomes an important link between reincarnation and the dead worlds. Her story demonstrates that souls are not confined to one form, but move across bodies, experiences, and eras. Shoko's tragic life, cut short in servitude to the early Candy Kingdom, is redeemed through Finn's memory, her spirit at peace only when acknowledged by her future incarnation. This illustrates how the dead worlds and reincarnation are intertwined. Souls are not static, nor are they erased. They persist, shifting between realms and bodies, finding meaning across lifetimes. The presence of the Catalyst Comet as a cyclical force only strengthens this connection, showing that reincarnation is not just personal, but cosmic. The dead worlds also highlight the tension between inevitability and choice. On one hand, mortality ensures that every soul will pass through these realms. On the other, Finn's journey in Together Again demonstrates that love and determination can bend the rules. His refusal to let separation from Jake define his afterlife allows him to traverse realms that would otherwise be closed to him. Similarly, Jake's spiritual maturity allows him to transcend simple reward or punishment, choosing reunion over passivity. In this way, the dead worlds reflect Adventure Time's larger philosophy, that rules exist, but they are flexible, and that meaning arises from how individuals engage with them. Visually, the dead worlds reinforce their layered nature. Some appear peaceful, with green fields and blue skies, suggesting reward. Others are shadowy and oppressive, reflecting punishment or torment. Still others are surreal, filled with bizarre landscapes that defy categorization. This variety reflects the complexity of existence itself. Just as Ooo contains kingdoms of candy, fire, slime, and ice, the afterlife contains realms for every type of soul. The afterlife is not monolithic. It is as diverse and strange as life itself. One of the most striking aspects of the dead worlds is their impermanence. Even these seemingly eternal realms can be disrupted. Death himself can be killed or replaced, as shown in Together Again. The order of the dead worlds is not unshakable law, but fragile structure, maintained by cosmic forces but open to defiance. This fragility mirrors the rest of Adventure Time's cosmos. Every layer of order is subject to collapse, every structure vulnerable to chaos. Even the afterlife is not beyond transformation. Thematically, the dead worlds represent the show's meditation on continuity. Life does not end with death, nor does death erase existence. Instead, being flows into new forms, whether reincarnation, reward, punishment, or cosmic transformation. For Finn and Jake, this continuity affirms their bond. Even death cannot erase their friendship, because the cosmos itself allows for return, reunion, and renewal. For Shoko, continuity provides redemption, a chance for her suffering to find meaning in the memory of her future self. For the viewer, continuity offers comfort, that endings are never final, that existence is always part of a larger cycle. The dead worlds also tie into Adventure Time's broader theme of love as resistance. Finn's journey across the afterlife is not motivated by power or destiny, but by loyalty to Jake. His refusal to accept separation reshapes his path, allowing him to move between realms that should be impassable. Love becomes a cosmic force, powerful enough to bend even the laws of death. This reflects the series' ultimate vision of meaning, that in a universe filled with chaos, entropy, and fragility, connection is what endures. Philosophically, the dead worlds echo traditions of reincarnation, purgatory, and layered afterlives found in many real-world mythologies. They combine elements of Buddhist cycles, Christian heaven and hell, and surrealist invention, weaving them into a uniquely Adventure Time vision. This synthesis reflects the show's broader approach to mythology. It borrows, transforms, and reimagines, creating a cosmos that feels both familiar and utterly unique. Ultimately, the hierarchy of the dead worlds situates mortality within the larger cosmic order. It shows that death is not erasure but transition, that souls are managed, sorted, and reborn, and that even the afterlife is fragile and subject to change. It affirms that existence is cyclical, that meaning is found in continuity, and that love can transcend even mortality. By expanding death into a layered spectrum, Adventure Time transforms the afterlife from an endpoint into another journey, one that reflects the strangeness, fragility, and beauty of the cosmos itself. Throughout Adventure Time, Finn the human appears to be the simplest of heroes. He is the last known human in the Land of Ooo, a boy with a sword and a strong moral compass, eager to fight evil and protect the innocent. His adventures at first seem grounded in fairy tale logic: dragons, princesses, monsters, and quests. Yet as the show expands its cosmology, Finn's role deepens. He is not merely a boy of destiny, but part of a cosmic cycle far older and larger than himself. He is one of the Comet Children, souls tied to the 1,000-year recurrence of the Catalyst Comet, reincarnated across lifetimes to shape the flow of history. This revelation reframes Finn's story, transforming him from a lone survivor into a participant in the rhythm of the universe. Hints of Finn's cosmic significance appear long before the comet itself is explained. Episodes like The Vault reveal his past lives, most notably Shoko, a girl living in the early days of the Candy Kingdom. Shoko's story is tragic, born with a missing arm, forced into servitude, and dying alone. Yet her memory endures, surfacing in Finn's dreams and ultimately finding resolution when her ghost reunites with her lost toy. This moment demonstrates that Finn is not a singular person, but one in a chain of incarnations. His identity stretches backward into forgotten eras, his soul carrying echoes of experiences he does not fully understand. Already, Adventure Time hints that Finn is not merely human, but cosmically bound. The explicit revelation comes in the comet, when Finn confronts the Catalyst Comet as it descends upon Ooo. The being within the comet addresses him directly, acknowledging him as one of its children, a reincarnated essence that returns each millennium. The comet offers him transcendence, the opportunity to leave the struggles of Ooo and ascend into a higher state of being. Here, Finn's destiny is laid bare. He is not only a hero of circumstance, but a soul woven into the cycles of the cosmos, part of a continuum that spans ages. The Catalyst Comet does not create heroes by chance, it seeds them, and Finn is one of those seeds. Yet Finn's greatness lies not in accepting this destiny, but in refusing it. When offered the chance to leave with the comet, he chooses, instead, to stay in Ooo. He rejects transcendence, preferring the messy, painful, and beautiful world of friendship, love, and imperfection. This choice defines him. The comet may give him a place in the cosmic order, but Finn defines himself through freedom. In that moment, Adventure Time asserts that destiny exists, but meaning lies in choice. Finn is a comet child, yes, but he is also Finn the human, and that humanity matters more than any cosmic cycle. Finn's reincarnations also reflect the series' fascination with growth and change. Shoko's suffering gives way to Finn's heroism, showing that past traumas can be healed in future lives. Finn himself grows from reckless boy to thoughtful young man, embodying the comet's rhythm of renewal. His soul carries continuity, but each incarnation transforms it, adding new layers of meaning. The comet children are not static archetypes, but evolving beings shaped by their choices as much as by their cycles. This reflects Adventure Time's larger philosophy. Existence is not erased by death, but reshaped, and each life offers the chance to change the story. The confrontation with Orgalorg during the comet further emphasizes the uniqueness of Finn's role. Orgalorg, cast from the stars for trying to seize the comet's power, represents ambition corrupted by hunger. It seeks to devour destiny, to monopolize the cycle for itself. Finn, by contrast, embraces humility. He refuses to consume or ascend, choosing instead to remain grounded. Where Orgalorg sees the comet as power to be stolen, Finn sees it as a reminder of choice. This contrast highlights why Finn's humanity is essential. His greatness lies not in cosmic ambition, but in human refusal, the courage to say no to transcendence, yes to connection. Finn's identity as a comet child also links him to the broader cosmic order of reincarnation and the dead worlds. His past lives demonstrate that souls persist, and the comet explains why his soul, in particular, returns to positions of influence. Yet, like all souls, Finn's journey is shaped not only by cycles, but by relationships. His bond with Jake anchors him, his love for friends and family defines him, and his moral compass guides him. Even as a cosmic being, he remains human, and it is that humanity that makes him a hero. Symbolically, Finn's role as a comet child situates him between destiny and freedom, order and chaos. The comet gives him a pattern, but his choices break that pattern. His reincarnations give him continuity, but his individuality gives him meaning. He is the embodiment of Adventure Time's central paradox. That existence is shaped by cosmic forces, yet defined by personal choices. Finn shows that the cosmos does not dictate identity. It provides a framework within which identity can be forged. Philosophically, Finn's cosmic destiny resonates with the series' broader themes of growth, maturity, and acceptance. His refusal to ascend with the comet mirrors his refusal to be trapped by the illusions of perfection or escape. Just as he chooses to accept Simon's tragedy, Marceline's pain, and Bubblegum's flaws, so too does he choose to accept Oo's imperfections. He does not seek to erase them through cosmic transcendence, but to live within them. This makes him a profoundly grounded hero, one whose greatness lies not in escaping the world, but in inhabiting it fully. The idea of comet children also reframes Adventure Time's mythology of apocalypse and renewal. The Mushroom War ended one age, the Elemental Crisis reshaped another, and the Catalyst Comet punctuates them all, ensuring that heroes arise when they are most needed. The comet does not prevent catastrophe, but it ensures that new possibilities emerge from it. Finn, as a comet child, embodies that resilience. His presence affirms that even in a cosmos marked by entropy, love, and unity can re-emerge. In the end, Finn's destiny as a comet child is less about transcendence and more about affirmation. He affirms Ooo, affirms humanity, affirms the value of living in the moment rather than seeking escape. His cosmic role may place him alongside gods and forces, but his choices place him among his friends, in the heart of Ooo. That paradox, a hero of cosmic cycles who chooses the ordinary, is what makes him central not only to the story, but to the philosophy of Adventure Time. For all its comets, elementals, and gods of chaos, Adventure Time never loses sight of its mortals. If cosmic beings shape the architecture of the universe, it is mortals who reveal its consequences. The cosmos may be populated by entities like Prismo, GOLB, or Death, but it is in characters like Betty, Simon, and even Magic Man that we see how fragile humans and Martians attempt to grapple with powers far larger than themselves. Their struggles show that mortals are not simply pawns in the cosmic order. They are participants, sometimes foolish, sometimes tragic, and sometimes transformative. Through Betty's sacrifice, Simon's tragedy, and Magic Man's madness, Adventure Time reveals that the cosmos is not only shaped by eternal forces, but also by the mortals who try to bend them. Betty Groff is one of the most striking examples of this theme. Introduced first in flashbacks as Simon Petrikov's fiancée, she enters the main narrative through time travel in the episode Betty, arriving in Ooo thousands of years after her own time. Her motivation is simple yet profound: to save Simon from the curse of the Ice Crown, to restore the man she loved. But her journey soon becomes a meditation on obsession, sacrifice, and the impossibility of controlling the cosmos. Betty's quest is not to destroy evil or reshape the universe, but to save a single person. Yet, in striving for that, she collides with forces that govern all existence. The Ice Crown, which transformed Simon into the Ice King, is itself a cosmic artifact, imbued with the madness and power of the ancient mage Evergreen. By trying to undo its curse, Betty enters the orbit of magic that predates humanity. In Betty and later episodes, she pursues magical knowledge with desperation, working with Magic Man, King Man, and others in her attempt to wrestle Simon's fate away from inevitability. Each step of her journey pushes her deeper into the cosmic hierarchy, until she is no longer simply a woman in love, but a mortal standing at the edge of godhood. Her most decisive act comes in the series finale, Come Along With Me. When GOLB threatens to consume Ooo, Betty makes the ultimate sacrifice. She merges with GOLB, using her will to redirect his chaos in order to save Simon. This act does not restore Simon to his old self permanently, but it frees him from the crown's madness, allowing him to live as a man once more. Betty's love is both triumphant and tragic. Triumphant in that it gives Simon back his identity. Tragic in that it erases her own. In merging with GOLB, she loses herself to chaos, her love transformed into cosmic sacrifice. Betty's arc illustrates Adventure Time's philosophy that mortals can shape the cosmic order, but always at a cost. She is not erased by her insignificance, but by her devotion. The cosmos bends because of her choice, but the price is herself. Her story demonstrates both the power and the limits of mortal agency. Love can redirect even entropy, but it cannot escape sacrifice. Betty's struggle is one of the clearest examples of how Adventure Time positions mortals not as powerless before the cosmic, but as participants whose choices carry weight, even if those choices are costly. Simon's tragedy is inseparable from Betty's. Once a kind-hearted antiquarian, Simon put on the crown to save a young Marceline in the aftermath of the Mushroom War. The crown saved them, but at the price of his sanity. Over the centuries, its magic consumed him, transforming him into the Ice King. Forgetful, lonely, obsessed with kidnapping princesses, and detached from his old life. The Ice King is both comic relief and tragic reminder of how cosmic artifacts shape mortal lives. His arc reveals that contact with the cosmic often distorts humanity, not by annihilating it, but by twisting it into grotesque persistence. Simon's return in Come Along With Me, made possible by Betty's sacrifice, is bittersweet. Freed of the crown's power, he is once again mortal, stripped of magic and memory of his centuries as Ice King. Yet he remains defined by loss. Loss of Betty, loss of his old life, loss of the strange continuity that once made him part of the cosmic order. His story, like Betty's, demonstrates the cost of mortal entanglement with forces beyond comprehension. Cosmic power grants survival, but it rarely grants happiness. Magic Man, though a Martian rather than human, embodies another aspect of this theme: madness born of loss. As explained in You Forgot Your Floaties and Sons of Mars, Magic Man was once a brilliant and respected magician, a peer to Grob Gob Glob Grod and other Martian authorities. His descent into cruelty and chaos was triggered by the loss of his wife Margles, who was taken by GOLB. Unlike Betty, who channeled her grief into devotion and sacrifice, Magic Man externalized his pain as cruelty, disguising it as humour and whimsy. His pranks, turning people into objects, tormenting Finn and Jake, are not simply jokes, but projections of his internal chaos. The stripping of his powers by Grob Gob Glob Grod represents both punishment and liberation. As normal man, he attempts to rebuild his life, stripped of magic, but also of madness. His arc suggests that mortals cannot always master cosmic forces, but they can survive them. Healing is possible, but only when they release their grip on power. Magic Man's story parallels Simon's in this way. Both are mortals who touched forces beyond themselves. Both were twisted by grief, and both found fragile redemption only when separated from that power. Taken together, Betty, Simon, and Magic Man illustrate how mortals in Adventure Time interact with the cosmic order. They do not embody eternal principles like the elementals or comets, nor do they embody chaos like GOLB. Instead, they are caught between. They are fragile, vulnerable, and often broken by their attempts to shape the cosmos. Yet paradoxically, their choices often change the course of existence more than the gods themselves. Betty redirects GOLB, Simon protects Marceline and endures centuries of madness. Magic Man reshapes Martian society by his descent and redemption. Mortals may not embody cosmic principles, but their lives reveal how those principles play out. Thematically, their stories show that the cosmos is not distant or abstract. It is personal. Love, grief, devotion, and madness. These are not separate from the cosmic order, but intertwined with it. Betty's love shapes entropy itself. Simon's tragedy reframes immortality as a curse. Magic Man's grief mirrors the madness of the universe. Adventure Time suggests that the greatest truths of existence are not written only in comets or dead worlds, but also in the hearts of mortals. The cosmic order matters because it collides with human lives. Ultimately, Betty, Simon, and Magic Man show that mortals are the most fragile and the most meaningful part of Adventure Time's cosmology. They cannot escape the costs of engaging with the cosmic, but they can transform it, even if only briefly. Their stories affirm the show's philosophy that meaning lies not in power, but in choice, not in transcendence, but in devotion. For Betty, love is enough to face chaos. For Simon, humanity is worth more than immortality. For Magic Man, healing requires surrender. In their struggles, the cosmos of Ooo becomes not only vast and terrifying, but also deeply, painfully human. For nearly a decade, Adventure Time spun stories that veered from the whimsical to the cosmic, from small pranks in the Candy Kingdom to the collapse of universal law. But all threads eventually converged in Come Along With Me, the series finale that brought together the characters, forces, and philosophies that defined the Land of Ooo. This finale is not simply a battle for survival, but the culmination of the cosmic order itself. Elementals, mortals, chaos, and destiny all intersect in one last, impossible crisis. It is here, in this convergence, that the show demonstrates its ultimate vision of existence: fragile, absurd, terrifying, and yet deeply meaningful. The finale begins with conflict rooted in the personal and political, the Gum War. Princess Bubblegum, the Candy Elemental and longtime ruler, prepares her forces against her uncle Gumbold, whose ambition to reclaim power threatens to tear Ooo apart. On the surface, this war is about inheritance and governance, about a kingdom's survival. But beneath it lies the tension of cosmic order, candy against candy, a civil war between embodiments of the same element. The elemental balance is disrupted not by fire or slime, but by internal fracture. The cosmos reminds us that imbalance does not always come from outside forces. Sometimes it is born within. Yet before the Gum War can reach its climax, the far greater threat of GOLB arrives. Summoned inadvertently during the chaos, GOLB descends upon Ooo, his formless mass-distorting matter, twisting beings into grotesque parodies of themselves. The battle between Bubblegum and Gumbold dissolves in an instant. Personal politics become meaningless in the face of cosmic entropy. Here we see Adventure Time's great convergence, the mortal and the cosmic colliding, the petty disputes of kingdoms erased by the arrival of the ultimate void. The corruption wrought by GOLB reveals the full extent of his power. Ordinary beings are warped into chaotic monsters. Structures collapse into incoherence. And even the most powerful entities find themselves helpless. Death enforces endings, the elementals enforce balance, but GOLB enforces nothing but distortion. His arrival reaffirms his role as the embodiment of chaos, entropy without meaning. Yet it also forces every other force, mortal and cosmic, into unity. In fighting GOLB, Ooo does not rely on one hero or one power, but on all of them together. At the center of this convergence stands Simon Petrikov, formerly the Ice King. Freed of the crown's madness through prior events, he is no longer cosmic, but human, fragile and grieving. His vulnerability contrasts with the vastness of GOLB, but it is precisely his humanity that matters. Betty, his devoted fiancée, sees that Simon cannot save himself, nor can Ooo survive without intervention. In her final act, she merges with GOLB, sacrificing her identity to redirect his chaos. Betty's love, personal and mortal, reshapes the most incomprehensible cosmic being in existence. The finale insists that even entropy can be reframed by devotion. Meanwhile, the people of Ooo resist GOLB not with weapons, but with music and unity. Finn, Jake, Marceline, Bubblegum, and countless others sing "Come Along With Me," holding on to their identities through connection. Where GOLB unravels, meaning, music and friendship reassert it. The finale crystallizes Adventure Time's philosophy, that survival in the face of chaos is not about defeating entropy, but about choosing meaning anyway. The act of singing together is absurdly small against GOLB's enormity, yet it is also infinitely powerful. It is in community that Ooo endures. The role of the elementals in this convergence is subtle but essential. Bubblegum, as Candy, fights to preserve her people. Flame Princess resists destruction with her fire. Ice King's legacy remains in Simon, his humanity finally restored. Slime Princess is absent, yet her element of resilience and adaptability permeates the collective struggle. The elementals, like comets and dead worlds, are not destroyed or erased, but absorbed into the larger unity. Their presence affirms that balance is not about domination, but about participation in the whole. The Catalyst Comet's resonance also echoes here. Finn, himself a reincarnated comet soul, once refused transcendence in favor of staying in Ooo. In the finale, that choice pays off. By grounding himself in community, Finn embodies the refusal to escape or dominate. His presence reminds us that heroes are not great because of destiny, but because of choice. He does not confront GOLB with cosmic power, but with human persistence, affirming once more that meaning arises from staying, from enduring. The finale's structure also reflects the philosophy of cycles. Just as comets return, just as lives reincarnate, just as elementals are reborn, the finale suggests that endings are never absolute. Though Betty is lost, her love persists in Simon's freedom. Though GOLB's chaos threatens all, Ooo endures in song. Though kingdoms fall and wars flare, new stories begin. Come Along With Me is an ending, but it is also a beginning, passing the world of Ooo onto new generations. The closing montage, with Shermie and Beth exploring a distant future, affirms this continuity. The cosmos moves forward, not as perfection, but as resilience. Symbolically, the finale brings every cosmic truth into focus. GOLB embodies chaos, Betty embodies mortal devotion, Finn embodies choice, the elementals embody balance, the dead worlds embody continuity. All collide in one moment, and in that collision, Adventure Time offers its answer. The universe is fragile, always at risk of unraveling, but meaning is made in unity, in love, and in resilience. The finale is less about victory than about survival, less about defeating evil than about affirming life. In the end, Come Along With Me serves as the great convergence not only of plot lines, but of philosophies. Every thread of the cosmic order, entropy, balance, destiny, mortality, love is drawn together, tested, and redefined. Adventure Time closes by insisting that no force, no matter how cosmic, is greater than connection. Against GOLB's incomprehensible chaos, mortals and gods alike find meaning in each other. And when the dust clears, Ooo continues, scarred but alive, fragile but enduring. That is the final vision of the cosmic order. Not stability, not perfection, but continuity made possible through love and choice. Adventure Time begins as a story about a boy and his dog-fighting monsters in a post-apocalyptic candy kingdom. By the time it concludes, it has become a meditation on the deepest truths of existence. Life and death, order and chaos, destiny and freedom, endings and beginnings. The cosmic order of Ooo, revealed piece by piece through comets, elementals, gods, and mortals, is not only a backdrop for adventure, but a philosophy. It tells us not what the universe is, but what it means. And in its strange, fragmented, and beautiful way, it offers one of the most profound mythologies in modern storytelling. At its core, the philosophy of Adventure Time's cosmos is that order exists, but it is fragile. Forces like the elementals structure the world, ensuring balance between candy, fire, slime, and ice. Death oversees mortality. Life ensures renewal. And the dead worlds provide continuity. The Catalyst Comet returns every 1,000 years, offering destiny and reincarnation. These structures are real, ancient, and powerful. They demonstrate that existence is not random but patterned. Yet the show never lets us believe that this pattern is absolute. Elementals lose control, death can be bargained with or replaced. Prismo's wish-granting depends on the sleep of a fragile mortal. Order provides frameworks, but those frameworks can fracture. If order is fragile, then chaos is inevitable. GOLB exists as the embodiment of entropy, the reminder that all structure can be undone. Orgalorg, once a predator of the stars, falls because it seeks to consume what cannot be consumed. Magic Man descends into madness when grief collapses his order into chaos. The cosmos of Adventure Time insists that entropy waits at the edges of everything. Wars erupt, kingdoms fall, lives unravel. Chaos is not evil in the moral sense, but indifferent. It erases not because it hates, but because it exists. And yet, even here, meaning persists. Betty transforms GOLB's chaos into an act of devotion. Music resists incoherence with unity. Mortals and gods alike find ways to affirm order, not by defeating chaos, but by choosing meaning within it. This tension between order and chaos reflects the show's larger philosophy of cycles. Everything in Adventure Time is cyclical. The comets return, the elementals reincarnate, lives flow into the dead worlds and back into new forms. Even apocalypses repeat. The Mushroom War destroyed one age, the elemental crisis reshaped another, and GOLB threatened to erase them all. Yet always, life continues. Cycles ensure continuity, but they do not guarantee safety. They are fragile, always threatened, always renewed. In this fragility lies meaning. If cycles were absolute, existence would be empty. It is because cycles can be broken that choosing to continue them matters. Finn the Human stands at the centre of this philosophy. As a comet child, he embodies cosmic destiny, reincarnated across ages to play a role in the universe's rhythm. Yet his greatest act is refusal. When offered transcendence by the comet, he chooses to stay. He does not seek perfection or escape, but embraces imperfection and community. Finn demonstrates that destiny is real but not binding. The cosmos provides frameworks, but individuals create meaning through choice. His humanity, fragile, mortal, limited, becomes the greatest force of all, proving that even in a universe of gods, a boy's choices matter. Jake the dog reinforces this lesson in his own way. Less concerned with cosmic truths, Jake embodies acceptance, flexibility, and joy. When confronted with mortality in Together Again, Jake moves peacefully into the afterlife, guided not by fear, but by love for Finn. He accepts the cycles, trusts the balance, and embraces endings as part of beginnings. Jake represents the philosophy of surrender, the wisdom of living fully in the present, rather than wrestling with destiny. Together, Finn and Jake balance freedom and acceptance, defiance and peace. Their friendship becomes the philosophical center of the cosmos, proving that relationships, not rules, give existence meaning. Mortals like Betty and Simon deepen this philosophy by showing the costs of grappling with cosmic forces. Betty's love reshapes GOLB, but only by erasing herself. Simon's survival through the crown's madness shows both the resilience and fragility of humanity. Magic Man's grief shows how personal tragedy can reflect cosmic disorder. These stories insist that mortals are not irrelevant to the cosmic order. On the contrary, they are its heart. The universe is not defined only by comets and gods, but by how individuals live, love, suffer, and choose. The elementals illustrate the philosophy of balance. Candy without fire becomes stagnation. Fire without slime becomes destruction. Ice without candy becomes isolation. None of them is sufficient alone. All are necessary together. This reflects the series' insistence that no force is absolute, no order permanent. Balance must be lived, maintained, and fought for. Even gods cannot guarantee it. Balance is fragile, but in that fragility lies beauty. The Dead Worlds expand this philosophy into mortality. Death is inevitable, but it is not the end. Life ensures renewal, souls reincarnate, and continuity persists across eras. Yet even here, rules can be bent. Finn and Jake reunite in the afterlife because love transcends inevitability. Mortality, like balance, is fragile. Its rules can be broken, not by force, but by devotion. Adventure Time insists that endings are real but never final. Continuity is eternal, but it is shaped by choice. Perhaps the most profound statement of Adventure Time's philosophy comes in "Come Along With Me." When GOLB arrives, unraveling existence, the people of Ooo do not resist with weapons or cosmic power. They resist with music, with connection, with the absurd act of singing together. Against entropy itself, they choose meaning. They cannot destroy GOLB, but they can affirm themselves. This is the show's final lesson, that meaning does not come from defeating chaos, but from living in spite of it. Existence is fragile, order is temporary, chaos is inevitable, but love, friendship, and creativity endure. Symbolically, the cosmos of Adventure Time can be seen as a rainbow of contradictions. Life and death, order and chaos, destiny and freedom, endings and beginnings, all coexist, none complete without the others. The cosmic order is not about perfection, but about paradox. It does not promise safety, but offers possibility. It insists that meaning is not given, but made, not eternal, but chosen, again and again. The epilogue with Shermie and Beth drives this point home. The world has changed, the heroes of old are gone, and new stories are beginning. The cycles continue, but the meaning belongs to those who live them. Just as Finn refused transcendence, Shermie and Beth step into the unknown, their adventure waiting to unfold. The cosmos persists, not because it is unchanging, but because new generations choose to live within it. In the end, the philosophy of Adventure Time's cosmos is simple and profound. The universe is fragile, chaotic, and strange, but meaning is created in love, balance, and choice. Gods may shape cycles, but mortals define them. Entropy may wait at the edges, but resilience shines brighter. Existence may be absurd, but that absurdity is what makes it beautiful. Adventure Time closes not with certainty, but with possibility, reminding us that the cosmic order is not fixed but lived, and that, like Finn and Jake, we must choose our place within it.